מודה אני לפניך, מלך חי וקיים, שחזרת בי נשמתי בחמלה, בחמלה. רבה אמונתך, מודה אני לפניך, מלך חי וקיים, שחזרת בי נשמתי בחמלה, בחמלה. רבה אמונתך, רבה אמונתך.
Hi, and Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
Nice to see you on this fine Shabbat morning. Oh, the Regal Hops get food later. Nice. Hope you had a nice start to your Shabbat. Hope yesterday was nice and calming into the evening, and you had an easy ride here. Now we're here together for our service and a little study for a very, like, next 2 weeks are really, really good Torah portion stuff. It's like really, really good stuff. So, I mean, they're all good. I'm required to say that, but particularly good chats for us. So we're gonna continue now with our let's do Nisim B'chol Yom, page 175.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan us chachvivina lehavchin ben yom uben laila. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, atir asurim. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, rokah haaretz al hamayim. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, albish harumim. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hama'avir sheina me'inai utnuma me'afapai. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani ben chorin. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, ozer Yisrael b'gvura. Amen. User error.
We continue on page 192.
Shochenad maharom vekadosh shemo vechatuv ranenu tzadikim Adonai laisharim navatehila befi yesharim titahal uvdivrei tzadikim titbarach uvashon chasidim titromam uvekerev kedoshim titkadash ובמקלות רבבות עמך בית ישראל ברינה יתפאר שמך מלכנו בכל דור ודור ישתבח שמך לעד מלכנו האל המלך הגדול והקדוש בשמיים ובארץ ברוך אתה אדוני אל מלך גדול בתשבחות אל ההודעות אדון הנפלאות הבוחר בשירי זמרה מלך מלכי העולמים יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה בעולמה דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומייכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן יהי שמרה במבורך לעולם לעולמי עלמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תמירן בעולמה ואמרו Amen.
We continue Baruch Hu on page 195.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch et Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam tzor ov v'choshech oseh shalom uvoreh et hakol. Please be seated. We continue on 199. We give thanks for the sages and teachers who bring us understanding of your will. Gratefully, we recall the lawgivers and prophets, the psalmists and sages of Israel, and joyfully remember that from the dawn of Israel's life, we would turn to you and find purpose. Baruch atah Adonai habocher ba'amo Yisrael be'ahava. Page 200.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם ושבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
202.
ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל, ואמרת עליהם, ועשו להם ציצית, על כנפי ידיהם לדורותם, ונתנו על ציצית הכנף בטיל תכלת, והיה לכם לציצית, וריתם אותו, וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני, ועשיתם אותם, ולא תצורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם, אשר אתם זונים אחריהם. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Adonai Elohechem emer. Our song of redemption, Micha Mocha, on page 204.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה פלא, שירה חדשה שיבחו גאולים, לשמך על שפת הים יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ואמרו Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Tzur Yisrael, kuma be'ezrat Yisrael, uftei chilmecha, Yehuda ve'Yisrael, Gohaleinu Adonai Tzevaot Shemo, Kadosh Yisrael, Baruch atah Adonai, Gal Yisrael.
Continue with the Amidah on page 205.
Adonai sifatai tiftachu fi tehillatcha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Koneh Hakol, V'Zocher Chastei Avot v'Imahot, U'Mevi Gula Livnei V'Nehem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Atarav le'Hoshia, Morid HaTal, Mechakel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Micha Mocha Bal Gevurot, Umidom Elach, Melech Memit Umechayeh, Umahatzmiach Yeshua, V'neman atah lehachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol.
Continue with the Kedusha, page 208.
Nekadesh et shimcha ba'olam, kishem shemakdishim oto b'shmei marom, kakatuv al yad neviecha, v'kara zel zeh ve'amar, kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzivaot, Meloch kol haaretz, Kivodo. Adir Adirenu Adonai Adonenu Madir Shimcha B'chol haaretz, Baruch Kivod Adonai Mimkomo. Echad hu Eloheinu, hu Avinu Malkeinu, hu Moshienu vehu Yashmienu, berachamav le'inei kol chai. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Yimloch Adonai le'olam, Elohai Hichzion, Ledor Vador, Hallelujah, Ledor Vador, Ledor Vador, Ledor Vador Nagid God Lecha, Ledor Vador, Ledor Vador, Ledor Vador Nagid God Lecha, Ulenetzach netzachim, ulenetzach netzachim, kedushatecha nakdish, v'shivchacha Eloheinu, mihipinu lo yamush le'olam va'ed, ledor vador, ledor vador, לדור ודור נגיד גוד לך, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גוד לך, ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
We continue silently now here on page 210 through page 219. When you're finished, please be seated. We continue at the bottom of page 214.
Me'al kulam, yitbarach ve'yitromam, yitbarach ve'yitromam, shimcha malkeinu tamid le'olam va'ed. Ve'al kulam yitbarach ve'itromam, yitbarach ve'itromam, shimcha malkeinu tamid le'olam va'ed. V'chol ha'chaim yadu chasela v'yahallelu et shimcha be'emet ha'el Yeshuateinu ve'ezrateinu Ezrateinu Selah. Ve'al kulam yitbarach ve'itromam, yitbarach ve'itromam, shimcha malkeinu tamid le'olam va'ed. Baruch ata Adonai, hatov shimcha, ulecha na'el lehodot. Seems shalom to you.
We continue with Seder Kriyat HaTorah, the service reading the Torah on Shabbat morning 244.
Ein kamocha va'elohim Adonai, ve'ein kema'asecha, malchutecha malchut, umemshaltecha bechol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai imloch, le'olam ha'ed, Adonai oz le'amoite.
Adonai barech et amo v'shalom. Please stand.
Av harachamim, heitiv avitzoncha et Zion. Timnei chomot Yerushalayim, ki bechad levad batachnu, melech el ram v'nisa adon olamim. Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, u'devar Adonai miYerushalayim, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, le'amo Yisrael, b'kedushato. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Gadlul Adonai iti uneromema, Shemo yachdav.
Please be seated. We are reading in the Torah portion called Shoftim. Torah portion called Shoftim. It is in the book of Deuteronomy, since we're still in there. And it starts on Deuteronomy 16:18. Deuteronomy 16:18 is where we are on this Shabbat morning. 16:18 Shoftim. I imagine that's where you're starting at the beginning, I imagine. Yes. All right. 16:18 Shoftim. It's the 16th chapter in the book of Deuteronomy, and then the 18th verse. You could find it that way. You could go from Genesis if you wanted to, and then go through the whole thing and flip through if you want. But I mean, it's up to you. But it's funny. Harry's not here, and I'm hearing all these numbers. It's interesting. So Shoftim 16:18. It's on page 411 in my book, so I don't know what you're talking about. So we're all going to be on different pages. Anyone want to do the Aliyah for us this morning? Anyone feeling Aliyah? No? Okay. All right, great. Ron, great. Marsha, great. Ya'amdu Reuven Moshe ben David ve Malcha bat David. La Torah. Torah blessings on 250. if you're following along, and you have found the Torah spot.
250.
One page back.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher barkar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen. Shoftim v'shotrim titen lecha b'chol she'arecha asher Adonai Elohecha noten lecha l'shivatecha v'shaftu et ha'am mishpat tzedek lo tateh mishpat lo takir panim ve'lo tikach shochad ki ha'shochad yaver einei chachamim v'yisalef divrei tzadikim tzedek tzedek tirdof למען תחיה וירשת את הארץ אשר אדוני אלוהיך נותן לך.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chai olam v'da'ah b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah. Yes, you're calling.
You don't know how to use Velcro?
We're just gonna
Lift it down.
we're just gonna raise and dress it, and then we'll
And then you'll dress it.
we'll raise and dress it. So we're on page 252. We're going to raise and dress it. Please stand. We're on page 252. Vezot haTorah asher sa Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai be'ad Moshe. It's very impressive with the columns. It's very column impressive.
I had a guy who could do like 8 or 9.
It's very. At some point, I could do 8 or 9. I haven't had any. I haven't pumped it up enough, but yeah. But Lisa says that she really wanted to marry me after she saw me do Hagbah, and I could do like 8 columns.
Really?
Yeah. She can ask her. She said that she was like, oh, you could hold the 8 columns. That's pretty impressive. So. No. You can ask her. You can ask her. There's very few qualities that I have. So she's like, let's count them. Okay, 3, fine, and that was it. So, okay, please be seated. It was a thank you. That was the best. That was touche. That was excellent. Yes, it was the one we gave out to the preschoolers. Beep, 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 beep. Yes, that was phenomenal. That was very good. That's good. No, it was a real one. Yeah, it was good. You can ask her. It's true. She was like, oh my gosh, look at that. No, I'm that and a secret potion that I give her every morning that she still wants to hang out with me. December 9, 10, 11, and 12, like whatever works. Just, yeah. Just don't go. Yeah. Okay, once again, if you're joining us on the live stream now for the first time, or you've been on, hello. Hopefully it's been working. I didn't even mention it at the beginning of the service. Hopefully it's working. If you're joining us just now for Torah study, we are in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 16, verse 18. If you're on the Zoom, hello.
Hi, Gail.
Hi, Gail.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. I do love how clear that comes through when people can talk. That is so cool. Love me the owl. Anyone remember how to say owl in Hebrew? I mention it almost every week. It's a weird word because it's in Hebrew. Yeah. Oh, Yatush, by the way, means mosquito, so it's good. But Yenshuf. It's an owl. All right, let's do our blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. So Shoftim has a ton of different parts for us to look at. So we clearly have to examine this first part, obviously, and then if there's time, we're going to look at some of the other parts. But there's a lot of very incredible pieces of Shoftim. The first thing to just remind ourselves is the word Shoftim. What is a shofet? A judge. Good. So why else would we know the word Shoftim? Where else would it come from? So anyone know another reference to literally the word Shoftim? Any other piece of text that we know of out in the Bible? Yeah, in the books, in the prophets, there's a book called Shoftim. Good, excellent. So yes, so there's a whole book in the book of prophets, right? So there's the Torah, right? There's the prophets and the writings. That's the Bible. So in the second section of the Bible, which is called the prophets or Nevi'im, yes, thank you. There's a book called Shoftim, which is really just about judges, and they were actually particular judges, particularly really famous female judge named Deborah. Good. And then there was another guy who had no hair. He had hair, and then he didn't have hair. What was his name? Yes. Well done. And what's cruel about that? What's my middle name? It's Samson. That's cruel. Yeah, it was cruel. So yeah. So it's cruel. Thanks, parents. I think one or both are watching right now. So thank you for that. It's like you knew. Yes. So all right. Good. Now, as you recall, there are remember there are two types of laws really in text. Remember what they're called? Two types of laws. Right. There's one law is called a chuk, right? A chuk. And what's a chuk, by the way? First of all, it's a fun word to say. What's chuk? What's a chuk? It's a law, right? But it's an I said so law that God says, it's a chuk. You're just going to do it. You're just going to do it. Like Shabbat. Shabbat says that there's this thing you're going to do. It's Shabbat. You're doing it. We're not having a dialogue about it. You're just going to do it. The other one is called a mishpat, right? So a mishpat is another kind of law, and it's the law that we can discuss. So hence we have this Torah portion called Shoftim, Mishpatim, all with the same root word. Like we talk about sometimes, a Beit Mishpat is a court of law, and the person who sits in the court of law and decides how the laws go is called a shofet. Exactly. So hence we have judges. Got it? Good? Everyone seemed so enthralled by that opening. So that was really good. All right. Please, take it away for us.
You shall appoint magistrates and officials for your tribes in all the settlements that the eternal your God has given you, and they shall govern the people with due justice. You shall not judge unfairly. You shall show no partiality. You shall not take bribes, for bribes blind the eyes of the discerning and upset the plea of the just. Justice shall you pursue, that you may thrive and occupy the land that the eternal your God is giving you.
Okay, thank you. So what do we have so far? Not only do we have what is so far, but what do we have so far, and also dissect the words as best as we can. Great. All right. So there's a court system that's supposed to be set up. Where are the Israelites physically? Actually, where are they physically in this spot? Yeah, they're nowhere. Right? They're nowhere. They're in the sand. They're standing in the sand. There's nothing there, and they're outside of everything. But yet they're getting this blueprint of what they're going to do eventually. Okay, so you shall appoint magistrates and officials for your tribes and all the settlements that God is going to give you, like that God's giving you. And they shall govern the people, and then what's after that? Not just govern the people, but govern them with? Yes. What's that Hebrew word at the end of 18? Anyone know? What does that say? Yeah. It says mishpat tzedek, it says. So it's almost with a ruling of tzedek. A ruling of, what does tzedek mean? Okay. Or righteousness, maybe fairness. Okay, good. So you're supposed to govern in this mishpat tzedek, in this form of law and righteousness, or law and justice, and then we get to 19. So why do we need 19 if we just had 18? Right. Well, I'm saying, so why do I need 19 if I just had 18? What? Yes? Right.
So now we're getting it with an elaboration. Not realizing people just haven't figured it out on their own.
Okay, good. All right, so good. So first let's talk about the Noahide laws, which, by the way, aren't written in the text. So Noahide laws are not anywhere in the Torah. Noahide laws are put in later by the rabbis to fit in nicely into the category. So they're not actually sitting in text. But there are Noahide laws, meaning there was a form of law system, hypothetically, that was not working in the time of Noah, which is why there was a flood, right? So great, and then eventually, maybe post-flood, also they were also put back into place to function into society. Great. So and then obviously the second part of what you said, thank you, Dr. Bob, it wasn't working. So we still don't get it. So even though we get 18, which says you're going to follow the rules. You're going to do it with mishpat and tzedek. You're going to do it both with this law-filled way, and with righteousness. So you're going to do all of that stuff, and you're going to do it with the right tribes and the right magistrates and everything. You still get 19 that says, even though I told you this, I'm reminding you, you shall not judge unfairly. You shall not show. You shall show no partiality, right? And you shouldn't take bribes. Why shouldn't you take bribes? Yeah. Do you think that's true? Yeah. It affects the decision. All right, good. Okay. God's, I think, just reminding us humans that we are not getting it. So I think probably because we're not getting it. All right, and then 20. Here is 20. So tzedek tirdof, justice shall you pursue. All right. Why is it written 2 times? Why can't it just say tzedek tirdof? It is, after all, the Torah. Great. Emphasis. God is saying it, but God can just say tzedek tirdof. Why does God have to say tzedek tirdof? Okay, but you should be listening to God anyway. Even if God says it 1 time, why do you have to say it 2 times? Yeah. Oh, nice. Nice. Okay, so maybe what Jay is saying is that that the one tzedek is for the chuk, like the law, the I told you so version of the law, and one tzedek is for the mishpat part of the law, which is the now we can talk about it section of law, right? Because there was those two kinds of laws, which we always talk about, by the way, that you probably, your parents did this or your grandparents, and we do to our children and whatever, right? There are some, we discuss this when we talk about this. There are some times we're like, okay, let's discuss your situation and let's make a decision together about why we should or shouldn't do this, right? That's in the mishpat area. Then there's also the chok area where you're fed up usually, and what's the answer? Because I said so, right? Everyone's like, enough, because I said so. Just get up and do it, right? There's room for dialogue, and then there's room for no dialogue. So maybe it's a little bit of both. So maybe tzedek tirdof is a mixture of both. Love that. Yes? Uh-huh. Ah, all right. So maybe there's a duality to it. You're saying on what Moses was hearing, maybe because it's Moses speaking, right? Because it's Moses speaking anyway. Moses is speaking because it's 37-day-long speech from Moses. So all of Deuteronomy is Moses speaking. So maybe Moses does the first one has like just to say, tzedek, because that's God saying it or him saying it, and the second one is maybe vice versa, right? So it's either Moses or God speaking. Interesting. All right, I like that. Yes? Gail?
Yeah, I read a commentary that said that one justice is our earthly selves, and the other one is our heavenly selves, which we're striving for. And last night you had said about that you can't just have laws, you need to have righteousness. Like there were the Nuremberg laws and Mussolini's racial laws, but we need the righteousness.
Yes. All right. Beautiful. So there's this concept, right, that when we engage. So this is one explanation, right? So you said two things. One is that there's more like this Kabbalistic view that that each tzedek is one for our earthly self and one is for our heavenly self, right? That we should all strive to balance that out, right? That one tzedek is the work we do on earth, which we need some help with oftentimes, and then our heavenly version of ourselves is there to push us, and we have that duality. The other thing that you said, right, is that perhaps the tzedek has to have tzedek, right? That your justice has to have righteousness in it when you do it, right? So what does that not work for? One of our favorite characters of movies that we see doesn't work for Robin Hood. So tzedek yerduf doesn't work for Robin Hood because what does he do to get the money? He steals from to give to the, exactly. So we know Robin Hood. So maybe this version doesn't work for Robin Hood because they're not allowed the first tzedek to allow us to enter into the second tzedek because we're not allowed to steal in order to give. Maybe it has to be levels of giving that we travel into, right? So that's another version. So sorry, Robin Hood, even though I like Robin Hood, but it's another Alan Rickman movie he steals it. Don't you think? You see? Yeah, it's great. Yeah. Sorry, we like to quote movies. Remember, everyone knows Alan Rickman, the late actor. It's incredible. Anyway, so that's a good movie, though. What do you think? Do you remember that one? Yeah? Yeah, good, okay, great. Thanks for sharing. So that was so deep and thoughtful. It was good. Yeah, clearly. Yes. What is that? You see that? And I did. Yes. Save us. Nice.
So maybe having it twice, just to give an emphasis.
Oh, yeah.
That you should do it.
Absolutely.
These other interpretations are, I don't know, maybe not. But
Great.
just to emphasize it.
Great. First of all, I love the Freud reference. Thank you, big Freud fan. You know, MOT, member of the tribe. So, what's that? Yeah. Right, which is nice. He was talking to Jung, the whole thing, and the conversation, and yeah, great. So, but I love that. What you're pointing out is one version of studying text, which is called pshat. And pshat just means it says it. I'm not going any deeper. The Torah says the words. Why don't I have to go any deeper? It's the Torah. So that's literally one version of studying pshat. It's a good thing for you to, you know, to hold on to it when you go to HUC. Is a nice thing because they're going to show you that there are three others besides pshat to study text. So we can discuss this. We'll have Ian here when we pack you guys to go to Israel. The whole thing will be perfect, and we can prepare you for the three versions. So pshat. So yes, excellent. Okay. Now let's talk about the second part. What's tirdof mean? Nice. So what's the point of that word there? We should aim for it. What does that mean? That maybe half the time we'll do something and half the time we're not going to do something. What is that? If we're going to pursue something, are we going to get it? We can hope. We can hope, but sometimes it doesn't work, right? We should try. We should try. However, what if we don't do it? What? Ah, okay. Nice. Yeah?
So the word tirdof is from to run after something.
Yeah.
So in other words, don't just try and seek it. You need to.
Yeah. It's yeah. Tirdof has a different connotation. Pursue isn't even enough. Yeah, it's with haste also. It's pursue, but with there's a run to it. Like you're not just pursuing it, you're running. There's almost like it's an out of breath pursuit, is what tirdof means. It's a constant sort of. There's no good English for it. Yeah. The idea of don't give up is in there because you're supposed to pursue it, but the word tirdof has such an interesting it's in an interesting connotation that doesn't translate the best into English. Yeah. Okay. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay. But we still have to do it, right? So we're commanded tzedek seder tirdof. So you're supposed to do it, and you just might not get it. But that doesn't mean that doesn't mean you stop, right? Fervor is a good word. It's also fun to say. Fervor. Yeah. All right, nice. Okay. You just said all hell's going to break loose, which I appreciate because I would like to jump. That's actually the perfect jump, actually. You said all hell's going to break loose, and it's going to take us to a particular spot, and we're going to use that word in a second, actually. So go to chapter 20, please. Chapter 20, verse, let's say 20. I mean, let's just do 1. I mean, 20, verse 1. 1. Yeah, I was going to move us forward, but let's just do 1. Chapter 20, verse 1. It is a new parsha. Just not yet. Next, yeah. So yeah, this section in Shoftim, which is very confusing, by the way, when we look up the Torah, because you're like, oh, I'm here. You're not. It's actually have to go one more week. So yes, this section does say Ki Tetzeh, and next week's Torah portion happens to be called Kitetse. But yes. So, all right, please.
When you, an Israelite warrior, take the field against your enemies and see horses and chariots, forces larger than yours, have no fear of them, for the eternal your God, who brought you forth from the land of Egypt, is with you. Before you join the battle, the priest shall come forward and address the troops. He shall say to them, Hear, O Israel, you are about to join battle with your enemy. Let not your courage falter. Do not be in fear or in panic or in dread of them. For it is the eternal your God who marches with you to do battle for you against your enemy, to bring you victory.
Okay, so what's this? What's this? What do we got? It is a very good pep talk, yes. That when you go into battle, it's going to be okay. And why is it going to be okay? Because God is with you, right? That's essentially the summary of those 4 verses. Anything else in the 4 verses before we keep going? All right. Yeah. Yes, which is interesting you say that because we're going to keep reading a little bit. So, all right, please go on. We're on verse 5.
Then the officials shall address the troops as follows. Is there anyone who has built a new house but has not dedicated it? Let him go back to his home, lest he die in battle, and another dedicate it.
Okay, so what's this? Well, we're not. Yeah, we're kind of. It's the very, very, very precursor of dedicating your house with a mezuzah. But what's the situation? What's verse 5 saying? You may die. Why might you die? Oh, you're in battle. Good. Okay, good. Just want to make sure that we're on the same page. So yes. So we're going into battle, and what happens in battle? There's a chance that you might die. Now, so here's verse 5 though says, right? If there's anyone who's built a new house, right? What's going on if you built a new house? Do you have to go to battle? Do you have to go to battle if you built a new house? No, you don't have to go to battle. Why? What's that? Right, if you haven't made it your house, right? You just built a house and you haven't set it up and eventually put that mezuzah on it, right? And you're going to die and someone else is going to live in the house that you built, then what do you get to not do? Go to battle. Interesting. What's that? Why did he go to battle? Well, I'm just hypothetically, if one goes to battle, because you have to go to battle, which, by the way, if we had more time, we'd talk about the 2 sort of Jewish views of battle, whether one's a command or one is a necessity. There's 2 different views of battle. We're not going to get into that now. Exactly. So, which is also why, based on all this Jewish text, which is why the Israeli army is called the Tzva Haganah L'Israel. It's the Israeli defense force. It's not an offensive force, a defensive force. So, but some other time. All right. So, yeah.
So could the term go back to your home, is it a metaphor for go back to your family or perhaps a wife or family that is?
Well, not necessarily and not yet. It's literally just your house for the moment. But it's a great question because it's about to be answered. So, but yes. But maybe you should both go to HUC. So yes, but this is just the house. But let's keep going, because now we're on verse 6.
Is there anyone who has planted a vineyard but has never harvested? Let him go back to his home, lest he die in battle and another harvest.
Okay, so what's this? What's this? Another excuse not to go to battle. So if you built a house and you haven't dedicated it, you don't have to go to battle. If you planted a vineyard and then you're called off to go to war, and yet you have not harvested your vineyard, do you have to go to war? No. Why? Because someone else is going to come and reap the benefit of your harvest. and they're going to have some wine. They're going to have your wine that you made. Yeah. All right. Keep going, please.
Is there anyone who has paid the bride price for a wife, but who has not yet married her? Let him go back to his home, lest he die in battle, and another marry her.
Okay. There's your third one. So if you paid a bride price, everyone's comfortable with that in 2022 to say that, right? As you, all the women in the room, that's fine to say that? Paid the bride price. Is that cool? Great, nice. Everyone has that good, warm, fuzzy feeling about it. Right, so you've paid the bride price, but you have to go off to battle. Why are you allowed not to go? Someone else is going to marry her. So you're like, no, I paid for her, so I should go be able to marry her. Does that bring you some discomfort? Whoa, okay, good. Yeah, so it's supposed to be like, so again, take off the 22 hat, put on the Torah hat, which made sense, right? Because at that time, which is still, if you put it in the 22 cents, also kind of lovely to be like, look, if let's say you were engaged, wouldn't it be nice to say, I'm engaged, I shouldn't be able to go to battle because I haven't even been married yet, and this seems unfair to go. So it's kind of nice. I mean, it's not nice in the way it's structured here because it's but yeah. And go back to your comment that brought us over here, Marcia. Thank you. Let's keep going to verse 8.
The officials shall go on addressing the troops and say, is there anyone afraid and disheartened? Let him go back to his home, lest the courage of his comrades lag like his.
Okay, there's your fourth way out. So either you built a house, you built a vineyard, you paid for the bride price, or what's the fourth option? You're afraid. So that's the question, right? First of all, why is it in here? Why does the text say, so all of them have explanations. If you built the house and someone's gonna consecrate it. If you built the vineyard, if you paid the bride price, someone will take your bride. If you're afraid, what's gonna happen? You're gonna affect. Yeah, so you're going to spread fear. So does that mean that the people who go to war aren't afraid? Is this text saying us everyone who goes to war isn't afraid? Of course not. So what is this text saying? The fourth part of the out option. So the beautiful quote transition that Marcia didn't even know that she was making, I saved here for what John Wayne once said. And he said, true courage is not the absence of fear. True courage is being scared like hell and saddling up anyway. That's what John Wayne said. So probably that's the opposite. So if you were not prepared to saddle up anyway, with your comrades to go and fight for something that you believe in, then probably you should go home. But if you're prepared to be scared and do so with your friends, your comrades, the people who you're with, that's different. So I think that's the balance of what these four pieces are. Are we shocked by them? Are we shocked by these four options? By these four things? I'm getting some no head movement at all. I'm getting some head movement that's going like this and some head movement that's going like this. So, and I have Cantor Muchnick. What's that? Oh, the exemptions. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Why is this in the Torah portion called Shoftim?
Rabbi,
Yeah?
isn't that the law today also, that boys who are afraid do not have to go to war?
I'm
If there's
not sure. Although I imagine everyone's afraid.
No, not everyone. People care about their land, care about their way of life. They'll fight even though they're afraid.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it differentiates fear. I think it differentiates what one does with their fear. Right? I think sometimes we're fearful of a lot of things, and still we do things because it's what we do. Even if we're full of dread, we still do them. So yeah, I'm not sure if that's the law today, but I think that's the attempt at the differentiation between where the fear lies. So yeah.
Maybe that's where the righteousness, comes in, because, we're afraid of something, we're fearful of something, but we push ourselves to do it because it's the right thing to do.
Nice. Yeah, it's beautiful. That's the pursuit, right? That's the tzedek tirdof, right? That we're gonna do this. We're gonna engage in this pursuit. It might be terrifying. It might be exhausting. It might take forever. Bless you. It might be a lot of these things, and yet we're still commanded to do this, to be engaged in this pursuit. So, yeah. Wow. Okay. All right. Yeah, and I think that what this Torah portion is doing. I mean, thank you for the example. I think what the Torah portion is trying to do for us is set up not just this week, but also next week, rules of engagement. Meaning not rules of engagement in war, but rules of how we're going to engage ourselves in society, how we're going to govern ourselves, how we're going to make these decisions, how we're going to move forward in these difficult moments in our lives. Like, I think that we're getting, and Moses clearly makes sense that he's doing this because this is all he's got, right? The second he stops talking, he dies. So I think that he's giving us all of this last minute information about how to engage in the universe when you go out there, because you're about to be in the land. And when you go in the land, you're going to have to figure this all out. So I think it's rules of engagement that we're getting, and I think that if and when we engage in these ways, in this pursuit, and we do so with tzedek, I think that's what the text wants us to understand. That when that in the engagement, because you're about to be we engage in stuff all day, every day. We're pursuing things all day, every day. But when we do so with tzedek, I think that's what changes and makes us special. Yeah. Well, that's the question, right? I mean, if one believes that every word in the Torah is God's word, then it's God, right? But it's Moses speaking, but perhaps Moses is inspired by God. But traditionally, it's thought that it's Moses speaking. Is Moses speaking through God? It's very possible. Yes. Who knows? We also have lots of theories. Also, as Reform Jews, we have the documentary hypothesis that we think that maybe the Torah was written by people. So that's a whole other view. Yes.
First of all, I find it interesting. It comes right after the section where it says, "Don't be afraid."
Right. Exactly.
So I think it's an issue of faith, and I also think
Uh-huh.
Here we're saying, well, you really don't have to do this, so we're not glorifying, the battle as separating ourselves from the thoughts of the other cultures.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, particularly because the whole section starts with, don't be afraid, I got you, right? That's what God says, right? And yet, we're afraid. And also, right, there's this cultural, let's go into battle, right, with the war paint and the spears, right? And here it's saying, hey, you need the war paint and the spears. We're just going to plant the vineyard, and we'll have a drink together. But you still need the people who are going to be able to go out even if you're afraid, because we need them too. Which not, right, this is a whole conversation that we're not going to have. It happens in Israel, by the way, between the Orthodox who don't want to serve in the military, right? So we're not touching that right now. Yes, you get the last comment.
There seems to be a great deal of empathy in these words because they're basically saying, what are you fighting for? Your family, the woman you're going to love and marry, your land, your crops, your livelihood. You're fighting for these essentials of life. So in a way, it's having everybody think about the justice and the righteousness of the fight and why you're really doing it. So in a way, it's almost reverse psychology. By telling them, go back and go. I think you could fire up people to be more committed
Mm-hmm.
to what the principles of their commitment.
Beautiful.
Their covenant really is.
Yeah.
So we're really fighting.
Excellent. Yeah. Thanks, Amy. Yeah. Yeah. Right, and how they're fighting for all of these things, right? They're fighting for their land, they're fighting for their people, they're fighting for. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So. Yeah, we are. Yeah, they are. We are. So good luck in the pursuit, everyone. And hopefully in the pursuit there'll be opportunities of attaining and achieving. So thank you as usual for a beautiful Torah chat. We are going to think of those in our community who are in need of healing, of physical, emotional, or spiritual healing. If there's someone you're thinking of and like to share their name, please share their name at this time.
Alicia. Gerard family, Lawrence May, Stu Furman, Ken Tankus, Sandy Tankus, all those affected by war, hate crimes, and violence.
משבח אבותינו ואמותינו אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, שרה, רבקה, חלב לאה, וברך את החולים. הקדוש ברוך הוא ימלא רחמים עליהם, להחלימם, לפתם, להחזיקם, וישלח להם מהרה רפואה שלמה מן השמיים, רפואת הנפש ורפואת הגוף, השתה בגלה בזמן קריב, ונאמר אמן. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Becca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal those who are ill. May the Blessed Holy One be filled with their health to be restored and their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and spirit, as together we say, Amen. Bunch of upcoming announcements. Just quickly, Rabbi Silver's 3 of 3, his last of third teachings that have been very popular, is coming up this week. If you have not come to one, I think you can still just come. So you just have to register so we know you're coming, because there's food, so we have to register for food for you, but you're still welcome to come to the 3 of 3. after the high holidays, we have many adult learning opportunities that will be coming forth very soon, taught by all the clergy. So we have lots of stuff coming up. Yeah. Yeah, on the 14th of September, we are going to be, the Sisterhood is hosting a dessert party for Rabbi Khan. So please join us. That's going to be on the 14th at 7 p.m., again, hosted by the Sisterhood. So it's going to be fun and lovely. And Cantor Mushnick is going to be doing all of his juggling and stuff that he likes to do in celebration. With fire, always.
I'm actually taking up knife throwing.
Throwing them at me? Throwing them at me. Yeah, participating. Yes, that's good. And it was the thing with you lay in the box and you're going to saw me in half and be like, oh, hey, oops, no box. Yeah. We're going to return the Torah to the Ark, 256. And, oh, yeah. Oh, registration, yes. Please register for whether you're going to the early or late service for the high holidays, because we would like to assign you some honors. Yes, and?
Cantor, do you know the dates of the Nichols?
February 25, 26, 27.
Yes. All right.
Dan Nichols.
We're going to return the Torah to the Ark. We're on page 256, and we're standing. All right, great.
Yehalelu et Shem Adonai ki niskav shemo levado hodo al eretz v'shamayim vayarem keren le'amo tehila lechol chasidav livnei Yisrael am kerovo. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Eitz chaim hi lama chazikim ba v'tomcheha meushar d'racheha darchei noam v'chol netivoteha shalom hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva chanesh yameinu Chadesh Yameinu Kekedem.
We remain standing. Aleinu 282.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה שלא שם חלקנו כהם וגורלנו ככל המונם ואנחנו קוראים
ומשתחווים ומודים
לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
We transition our thoughts to Kaddish Tom, to Mourner's Kaddish, and we think of those in the period of Shiva, the immediate 7-day mourning period, Adam Hefner and Alfred Fried. And our yortzais that occur for us this week, Julio Barrios, Frederica Berliner, Murray Brovitz, David Bushnell, Ernest Camus, Mary Chazen, Marilyn Cohen, Sanford Dworkin, Jack Fine, Isaac Foster, Loretta Foster, Edwin Friedrich, and Herbst Gake, Gail Hollander, Sophia Hollander, Brandon Howard, Leah Kaminsky, Barbara Kaplan, Ann Klein, Jeffrey Pearl, Henry Raffin, William Rosenberg, Robert Schwartz, Charles Sherman, Lenore Siegel, Wilfred Stark, Robert Tankus, Jacob Turnoff, Stanley Weiner, Barton Weissman, Zelda Weissman. To those names, we add any name that you would like to add at this time. Kedusha Tome 294. Yitkadal v'yikadash me rabah, ve'alma divra chiruteh ve'amlich malchuteh, v'chaye echon v'yom echon v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehe shme rabah mevorach le'olam ulmei olmaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'a v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudesha b'richu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran ba'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shalom al rabba min shamaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, as together we say, amen. Please be seated. We conclude this morning with Ein Kelohenu on page 322. Ein Kelohenu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkenu, Ein Kemoshienu, Michelohenu, Michadonenu, Michemalkenu, Michemoshienu. Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Malkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu. Adonai oz la'amo yiten, Adonai varech et amo v'shalom. May God give strength unto our people, continue to bless us with hope and strength and love and peace. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom.